Welcome to the podcast. I'm a little raspy tonight, but you're listening to Parenting on Autism with Mocktails and Cocktails. I'm Sybil Burrows, better known as Sid Sib.
And I'm Sharona, also known as Blues Brothers.
Woo, what's going on, Sharona, my Sharona? How was your week? Thanksgiving.
It was good. It was good. We did a lot of cooking. We grilled a turkey. We baked the turkey. It messed up the potato salad.
Oh, no.
How was yours?
Well, Thanksgiving is always / giving thanks that I had Sydney and Sabrina. I had them on Thanksgiving. So
26 years ago.
26 years ago, I was in Howard County General having my Thanksgiving dinner, girl.
2 turkeys.
Woo, 2 turkeys. Sydney came out at 4:10 and Sabrina came out at 3:09 in the NIC unit. Sid came upstairs with me 26 years ago, and we waited for Sydney to come home 2 weeks later. And now they're both taller than me, bigger than me, and can shut it down better than me. So we had a good time. I mean, it's always tough to have, I guess, children sandwiched into a holiday.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always been Thanksgiving family, and we try to tie it up with a birthday and cake. So it was kind of cool that on Friday, you, Mike, Deirdre came to their house, and everybody brought candy. Because you call them their candy girls.
Candy girls on the run.
Candy girls on the run. And I tell you, thank you so much for those Skittles with their pictures on them, because Sabrina and Sydney, they got into a little tussle for like 2 days.
Sabrina, nice bag.
Yeah, Sabrina had them all packed up in her backpack, and Sydney snuffed them out. And then they were like rolling in her room. I'm like, what is going on? And Sydney was like, she wanted her 2, and Sabrina wanted Sydney's 2. And I was like, y'all got to split these 4 bags up. Mm-hmm. And so they did. And on Sunday, they only had 4 bags, 2 piece. And I think hopefully they're all gone, because
I'm sure they are.
You started a mutiny. It was funny how Sabrina, was it Sabrina or Sydney touched the cake that you brought?
Sydney,
you had a cake with a donut on top, and she kind of touched it to see if it was real.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was funny. And the next day she split it in half and licked on it and then put it back on the cake. And I'm like, yeah, they're yours. Nobody else is eating that cake, Sydney. But that was cool. And then I went back to work and, back setting up for holiday. Now it's like 30 days later, it's Christmas, and we decorate the house. Thanks, Mike. You were our tall guy and put the star on the tree. Malik was under the weather, and we just do what we do. Raising Sydney and Sabrina during the holidays, they've never asked for the Xbox. They've never pressured me to get anything, because they're nonverbal and they just get what they get. So
they're happy.
What's up with Seth and Cyrus during the holidays? Talk to me about how they react to all of the lights and all of the excitement.
Well, they love the tree. Every year they throw everything they can find into the tree.
Oh, no.
I just put lights on it because the bulbs and the ornaments and things, they just pull them off. They break them. They play with them like balls. They love the tree, though. They like smelling it. They like playing with it. They like jumping into it. We just don't really decorate it too much.
I know you said after leaving the girls' house, we did the white and the red represents love. And you were like, you gave me a good idea. This year I'm going to
just do blue and white.
I mean, like, I couldn't believe you said blue and white. I would imagine you have a blue tree, Miss Blue. We're sipping on this blue. What is it? You got me to buy this blue
Bel Air.
I couldn't find the one that you talked to me about, but the reason why we're sipping on this blue Bel Air, which is pretty good. It tastes like blue cotton candy, which she's a sweet girl. I'm a dry girl, but it's not bad.
It's good to me.
Okay. But the one that lights up is exclusive that you received from who?
Rick Ross.
So,
he has a daughter on the spectrum.
And interesting enough, Rick Ross was here in Baltimore over the weekend doing a 50th birthday party for Nikel's girlfriend.
Oh
here in
wow.
Baltimore. I saw it on Instagram and I asked her about it and she was like, that's my girlfriend. She had our birthday party at another one of our friends spot here in Baltimore, Icon. I like to shout them out because they're also Columbia girls. And speaking of Columbia girls, yep, Tracy from Icon and Mia. I have a Columbia girl on hold that's gonna hop on and talk to us a little bit about what she's doing. She has a daughter with special needs, and I grew up with her entire family, the Williams family, Lacey and Tony, and Rhonda is the baby of the bunch. And when we cut from break, when we get back, Rhonda is gonna be on the other end talking to us. She um, after the birthday party, Deirdre went and hung out with her older sister, and a long story short, was bragging about Sydney and Sabrina in the adult setting. And her daughter, I believe, is 18 or 19 or soon to be aging out. And Lacey just went home and was like, Rhonda, you got to hook up with Sybil because something about what Sydney and Sabrina is doing might be something that you want to consider. Kind of like how you talked about with Seth and Cyrus, like this is something that I want to be able to get them prepared for, and they're only 10. So we have another group of women that are raising children on a spectrum that may possibly would like to hear the story about transition. So we're going to cut the break, and on the other end, we'll have Rhonda Williams Miller.
Okay, sounds good.
I hope Rhonda is still with us, and I'm super excited to hear from Rhonda Williams Miller.
Hey, Rhonda.
Hello, hello
Hey, hey,
everyone.
hey, hey.
Hi, Sybil.
Hey, girl. So, why don't you just tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and what fabulous mom of the journey that you're doing with your beautiful daughter?
Sure, sure. I, it's so long that I'm gonna try to, you know, kind of shorten some areas because we've been on a journey, and that is what I definitely share with people when I share our
Mm-hmm.
story. It's been a journey, and I used to call it a roller coaster ride
How about that?
because it has the highs, the lows, the turns, the
Ups,
scary
the
part, the
downs.
exciting part, sometimes you're laughing and sometimes you want to cry.
Oh, weak
So
at
it
the
has,
knees is what we call
Sometimes we're
it.
laughing and crying.
yes, yes. And sometimes you laugh because you are just tired of crying. So you just have to laugh.
Exactly. Yeah.
So this has been a journey that started 18 years ago. My daughter, who is adopted, was born October 19th in 2004.
Okay.
And me and my husband had been trying for years to have a baby. We did fertility treatments, unsuccessful, all of that. So we were already like an emotional, well, at least let me speak from me. I
Mm-hmm.
was an
Mm-hmm.
emotional
Mm-hmm.
wreck going through all of the fertility because I don't know if you are familiar with anybody that's gone through fertility.
Absolutely.
That's a whole nother journey.
Mm-hmm.
So I went through that. Then through a family friend, was notified that they had a family member who was having another child that they were unable to take care of. Um, Based on their circumstances, the courts already deemed them as not able to take care of the
Okay.
child, and they were looking for a family to take the child because
Hmm.
the previous child was only a year older than and the grandmother and aunt already had the 1 year old, so they were like, we can't do this
Right.
again,
It's
like
a
our
lot.
hands are full. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, absolutely.
And how
Absolutely.
old was the
They
baby when you got her?
Well, we got her in our home at 4 days old.
Wow.
We
Ooh,
were supposed to wait for the courts to issue us custody, but they had taken her home and they were juggling this newborn and the 1 year old. And they were like, mm-mm, you come get her. We will call you when the courts notify us
Yeah.
of our court date, and you just all come and we'll all go together to court. And so that is how we did it. So we've had
Wow.
her in our home since 4 days old. We actually didn't get legal custody of her till 4 months old.
mm-hmm.
But we still had her the entire time.
Good.
And so she started off as a just, I mean, she hit all of her milestones early.
Okay.
Talked early, walked early. She potty trained by age 2. By the time she was 2 and went into a 2 year old classroom, she was fully potty trained.
Good.
She hit all of her milestones early. So when I started recognizing some other signs of things, I was like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
She's so advanced.
Yeah.
What? This can't be. So, but
Mm-hmm.
my daughter started off with behavior issues. Hers started in the way of behaviors.
Okay.
So she was in the 2 year old classroom, and it seemed like every day I was picking, when it was time for pickup, I was picking her up in the director's office
Oh
because she had been
no.
sent to the director's office because she hit somebody, she
Okay.
kicked somebody,
Mm-hmm.
she did something.
And
And
Yep.
this was at
so,
2 years old?
this was
Two.
at 2.
Okay.
So I was just like, wow, she's so aggressive. Where's this aggressive behavior
Mm-hmm.
coming from? Because
Mm-hmm.
me and my husband's like one of the most calmest
Mild.
person you would ever
Uh-huh.
know.
Uh-huh.
So it
Uh-huh.
wasn't like a learned behavior. So I was
Mm.
like, where's this coming from? Then we moved her out of that daycare into another daycare. And in that daycare, it was the same. We were seeing the same thing, a lot of aggressive behavior. And then we started seeing a decline in her retaining some skills. Like
Mm.
first, she could say all her ABCs, and all of a sudden, it was like she
Reverse.
struggled. Like
Mm-hmm.
one day she's
Mm-hmm.
like saying them, and then it was like the next day she's like and it's like, Madison,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and colors, especially with colors, she would know a color one day and then the next day it was gone. And so I was, it was just little cues going off like, wow,
Yeah.
this is odd, that I don't know what this is about. Um so eventually with the behavior and that second daycare that we were in, I and the director was like, I'm not sure if she's a good fit here because she's just not able to keep up with the rest of the kids in the
Mm-hmm.
classroom.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have the staff to really
Mm-hmm.
spend time with her.
It's
Um,
always not having enough support for our
yeah,
community.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, it is.
Absolutely.
But I hadn't even at that point, I hadn't identified anything
Identified.
yet.
Okay.
So the Prince George's County, I live in Prince George's County in the
Mm-hmm.
state of Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in Prince George's County, there's a child care resource center, and because of my job, I was a child care licensing specialist at the
Wow.
time, and I licensed child care facilities. So I'm very familiar with the child care, early childhood, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that, I um, contacted them because they had a special needs coordinator who would go in and help center staff find resources to help them with children that were identified. So I was like, Paul, I need your help. Come on in. Can you observe Madison? Can you tell me what you think is going on? He did. He was like, yeah, I think she could use some resources. So we tried that. That still wasn't working. And then I found this wonderful, wonderful date child care that is no longer in existence.
Oh wow.
It was a private nonprofit.
Mm-hmm.
It was called Bowie Therapeutic.
Mm.
And Bowie Therapeutic was a preschool that was and it was all funded. It was for children that were identified having needing some additional resources.
Mm-hmm.
early intervention services were going to be provided. So I was like, I knew the people because I licensed the facility. So I was like, hey, can I get Madison evaluated and can you see if she is a candidate to come to your facility? They did. She was accepted. She went and she did about a year and a half there until she was 4. Then we went through Child Find, and then she got accepted to Chapel Forge,
Let me
Okay.
ask you
which was one.
something real quick.
Yes,
So when she went there and they accepted her, what did they identify her with? Was it immediately
they just
autism?
identified her with ADHD.
Okay.
So they said she definitely has ADHD and some um, behavioral issues. So that's all we had was the behavioral components and ADHD. So once she went to the public school, it's a public special needs school, and so she got the bus. She got picked up on the school bus. She went there.
Was she on
Um,
medication?
Not yet.
Okay.
So once she started there, then they also told us we should seek out a psychiatrist to see if medication is a route we want to go. So we did go see a psychiatrist. She definitely confirmed ADHD, um, and so she did recommend some medication. We tried one medication, didn't really work for her. It made her very sad and depressed. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, no,
Nope. Took her
she,
personality away, right?
yeah, it took her personality
Yeah.
away. And I
It's
was like,
not. It's
no,
not. It's not
this
good.
isn't, I said, I
You
want her
don't want her to be there.
I want her attention to be there because I want her to be able to focus
Exactly.
in class, but I don't want her her personality to go away.
Exactly.
So we tried another one, which is Focalin XR, and she has literally been on that since age 5. That is a wonder drug for her. I
What
don't know if
milligram?
she's up to now 40. I think we started off at like 15 or 20 when she was 5, and now we're up to 40 milligrams.
And how old
And
is she?
she's
18.
18.
18.
Okay.
She's 18, and it still works for her.
She's
You still,
18. She's
she's
18
18
and very busy. She's
Okay.
booked
and
and
very
busy.
busy. She's very outgoing.
She is
She
booked and
loves to
busy,
talk.
Rhonda. I follow you.
Is she
I talked to her.
verbal?
Yeah, she is. I talked
That's
to her the other night when I had the
yeah,
conversation with Rhonda to get her on the podcast, and they were coming home from cheer
cheer
practice.
practice. Yes,
And she
yes.
cheers. She's in Special Olympics.
Olympics.
And
Yep,
what
she
else does
swims
she
for.
does? What else
She
does she do?
swims for Special Olympics,
Swims.
and yes, she's on the swim team. And those are her two main activities. And then she just has like groups of friends that
She
she's
does. She's
always
booked and busy. She's going to.
booked.
That's
Yeah,
She's
good.
always.
That's good.
Uh,
Keep
she's
them
going.
busy.
She's going to
but
dances with her with her
yes,
dates with her
yes,
gowns
yes.
on.
Oh,
Because
Yeah.
okay.
I'm a big advocate in allowing her to have typical teenage
That's
activities.
right.
That's
Like
good.
just because she's on the spectrum doesn't mean that I have to put her in a
Exactly.
bubble
Yes.
and
Mm-hmm.
isolate her. And she is what we
Inclusion.
would call high functioning,
Mm-hmm.
and she sees teenagers. She knows what teenagers
Oh
are doing.
yeah.
She knows the social world, and it's kind of a plus and a curse because she gets she wants to do all the things teenagers are doing. So all the social media,
Mm-hmm.
all that, going out and stuff like that and dating. And that's something I'm going to get to in a little bit because
Yes.
that right there
It's
has
not. You're not
been,
ready. Just say it.
oh
You're not
my
ready for it.
goodness.
You're not
Oh
ready for it.
my goodness. Like I will take the 5-year-old who was coloring all over walls and hitting anybody that she walked by versus the 18-year-old who wants to go out on dates.
Yes.
So,
So we're gonna cut to break, Rhonda.
okay,
And
sure.
on the other side, we're going to get caught up with your next phase
Okay.
of Madison
Yes.
and the transition from dating to not dating to like what your goals are for Madison when she ages out of, and she's in Prince George's community.
Well, she's in no, she's
Private?
in Prince George's County, but she's in a private
She's
placement.
in private
Yes.
setting. Okay. So
Yes.
on the other side, give us some information on the private setting and then take us
Okay.
through what it meant to you when your sister Lacey was like, you want to talk to Sybil.
Okay, Sybil. So we reached the end of this installment.
I mean,
And let's pick up next week
okay.
for Miller Month.
I mean, cheers to that.
Cheers.